Identifying alternatives. And this is where business customers are much different than consumers. Consumers, remember we talked about memory first, and if memory doesn't do it, then we look outside the world, but memory usually does it. In the business world, this is money, and I want to make sure that my investment is good, so I'm going to be much more active in identifying alternatives. Seek out, look for new information. I will call in people who I've never talked to before if I think they have something that they might be able to share. Sometimes one of the ways to identify alternatives is through a competitive bidding process. And typically that works through a RFP or a request for proposals. So for example, if I need to upgrade my fleet to hybrid cars, I might put out an RFP just to anybody in the world is give me a deal for 100 hybrid cars with the maintenance contract to go with them, with the service, and then see what people bring in. So rather than identifying, you just say, this is what I'm looking for, you tell me what you want. And typically the contract goes to the lowest bidder. I have had a contractor friend, and they live and die by the competitive bidding process. And his comment to me was, every time I win a competitive bid, I go, oh crap, what is it that I forgot to put in my bid that my competitors did that made me lower than everybody else, and am I going to lose money on this contract? Because once you've established your bid, you're held to it. Another issue is in business buying, the non-financial costs are much more important. Price is important in business, but price is not the most important criteria. Price is an important criteria. Cost is the most important criteria. And cost is price plus all of the other costs that are associated that you have to pay people to do to get the product to where you're ready to move it on and turn it into revenue. So shipping, handling, packaging, the cost of returns, cost of credit, all of those things are taken into account in looking at the final purchase. And I might have a low price, but some of the other costs associated with it are so high, I might go for a higher price to get a better quality product and get better delivery, get more inventory management. Excuse me. Also, you need to look at how a purchase is going to have an impact on existing relationships. Are you going to upset a customer? If I, for example, am selling to Walmart and I'm buying a product for my business from Target, might Walmart be upset? You know, why aren't you buying from us? We're friends. And then just, we'll talk about channels of distribution, but want to make sure that I am not doing something that would upset the people that are helping me reach my customers. Gospel according to Bruce, and actually that's not gospel according to Bruce, this is economic theory. In business, you always want to have more than one supplier. If you have only one supplier, your supplier owns you. So think about that. If I'm a coffee shop and I have one supplier of coffee, and my supplier says to me, guess what, the price of coffee just doubled. What happens to me? Price of coffee just doubled, at least until I can find another supplier. But if I've got 2 or 3 suppliers and one supplier comes to me and says the price of coffee just doubled, what do I say? I say, thank you, I won't be ordering that much from you this time, I go with another. So you always want to have more than one source of supply because that gives you a little bit of leverage and it keeps your suppliers from owning you. Many large corporations have a variation on this theme. They have what they call an approved vendor list. So if I'm a manager and I need to make a purchase for my division, I don't have to seek out all kinds of different suppliers, but there's already been some screening happen that if you need to buy hybrid cars, you've got these 3 sources that you can buy from, and of those 3, you get to get your pick. So it's kind of a 2-stage process, as I don't have to vet the whole world, but I am given some freedom as to who I actually buy from.